Hi, Wednesday, the 2nd of April. So the year is a quarter over already. In some ways, that might be a good thing. And we are here to look at the current astrology, which just gets more mind-blowing as the year goes on. So I'm going to share and we'll look at this chart straight away. And there we are. Right. Hope you've got that. Right. So the sun is at 13 degrees of Aries. Right, we've got that. And we know that Neptune has also moved into Aries. We've got that. Okay. So 2 days ago, I did a short video on Neptune moving into Aries and the possible events or feelings that might be coincidental with that move, the synchronicity. Okay, now we have something just as important to look at. I mean, not as if, Neptune moving into Aries sort of once every 11, 13 years, something like that. Neptune changes sign. And blow me down, we have something of equal importance to look at now, something that I don't think I've ever seen before. Right. So it's all happening in Pisces, and it's to do with Mercury and Venus and Saturn. Now, and the North Node actually, but we won't bring that in too much. Um, so they're all in a group. This isn't one of the best groups that could possibly be together in the sky. The North Node tends to hold a bit of it's a peculiar energy that actually can make you very lightheaded and a little uneasy. There's a little dis-ease with it. It's not quite what the energy is coming in from another dimension actually, because it's due to the collision between the path of the sun with the path of the moon. And it ruptures space-time, and so we get another type of energy coming in, not massively because this stuff's quite dangerous, but enough to give us sort of a queasy feeling. Okay, so that's the North Node. The one I really want to focus on, in actual fact, today is the Venus-Saturn conjunction, which is heading towards its exactness. Venus is actually going backwards in the sky right now, or appears to go backwards in the sky. The planet doesn't really do that, but hence that little r there, meaning retrograde. And it will, in 2 days, meet Saturn, another Earth planet. These are both Earth planets. Sorry, not in 2 days, 4 days. Okay. So now, because Venus is going back, because it has been forward and now it is going retrograde and then it is going to go forward again, there are actually three hits or three occasions in which these planets are exact to each other. Now, this isn't the best news in the world because Venus-Saturn aspects to each other can be very dreary and quite challenging or difficult. So I'll give you the dates on this. So the first time that Venus passed Saturn was on the 18th of January this year, and that was going forward. Now it's going back again, and it will be exact on the 6th of April. So that's in 4 days, as I say. I'm just going to stop sharing now because you don't really need to see any more of that. There you go. So yeah, so we get to the 6th of April. Now, normally, because Venus is traveling quite quickly, we will get just a couple of days of a Venus-Saturn conjunction. And these two are opposite to each other, really, in some respects, because Venus is a symbol of achievement. It's a symbol of success, acquisition. It makes us feel happy with something that we've got, something that can be said, it's mine, I've got it, wow, I love it, it's amazing. So we can feel happy with the success of the acquisition. Saturn, on the other hand, still an Earth planet, but showing the reverse of that, the other side of the coin. So it's about denial, it's about austerity, it's about testing, to see if you want something of value. Is it any good for the future? If it isn't, you will be tested, and the thing may dissolve, end, go away, etc. And so it's a planet that denies. Okay. So just going back to the dates on this. So 6th of the 4th. Now, normally, as I say, couple of days and this is over because it can feel very depressing. You feel as if you're never going to achieve what it is that you want. But unfortunately, this time over, this is going to stay in orb because of the retrograde, moving back and then moving forward. They're going to stay within orb of each other for 10 days. Right? So that's from the 6th to the 16th of April. Well, honestly, by the end of that time, we will all be thoroughly tested. So I could say that. All this is happening in Pisces. So wherever the Pisces is in your chart, this is the area of your life which is being tested. I feel quite sorry for Pisces sun signs, I have to say, although you've probably been through so much now that it's just more of the same, and you're probably toughened up to having 10 days of considering or thinking that you're being denied, that you can't get what you want, that you don't feel as if you're being successful. For some Pisceans, this is a permanent state because Pisces is quite a Pisces always wants to pine and yearn and long for something, so it can be quite mournful as a norm. But anyway, sorry, I'm teasing you, Pisces. Okay, so up to the 16th of April, fine, got that. Then, just 8 days later, is the third hit. And this time it goes from the 24th of April for another 4 days. At which time, at the end of that 4 days, so on the 28th of April, there is a trine to Juno in Scorpio. Okay. So that trine indicates for me that this is going to be about relationship one way or another. It certainly finishes up that way towards the end of April. But you can see from the dates that I've just read you that this puts the whole of April in this cloud where we have to think about what it is that we want in the future, our values, our beliefs. We have to, the things that we think we want are to be tested. And it can feel as if things are being taken away from us, and things can be taken away from us. What it's actually doing on the positive side is it's actually testing out things for the future to make sure that everything in your life is good, that it's fit for purpose, it's going to stand the test of time. Okay, it's also giving you some life experience. And these are the things that make us wise. This is another opportunity for personal growth. So gird your loins and stiff upper back, and grip yourself and just work your way purposely through April. The fact that it's in Pisces probably implies that there is something to do with universal love. Pisces represents love with a capital L at its highest value in terms of cosmic love. Pisces always also represents for all of us something of an illusion or something that is transitory, something which we can't find. It's hard to grasp. We can find that we've been looking at things through rose-colored glasses, as we say here, rose-tinted spectacles. And the spectacles come off, and we see something for the first time. And we get a sense of, okay, whoa, just a minute. I have to think about the value of this or the lack of value in this. Things can seem very sort of tangible and realistic, whereas it was better when they were unrealistic and really too, sort of imaginary, illusory almost. It's possible that somebody has been fooling us, or we recognize we have been fooled, and that can be pretty depressing, really, thinking about that. It is also possible that we can have doubts about spirituality, religion, belief systems, things like that. We can start to examine things and think, wait a minute, is this really true? Now, I'm just giving you sort of vague things here because it does depend where it is in your personal chart. So we are just looking at kind of the cosmic environment, and that is one that simply goes on about denial, and having achievements tested, and losing acquisitions, or having to fight for acquisitions, that kind of thing. So it's difficult to be quite precise. However, I think it's best that I tell you that this testing time is coming up so that when it comes, you are ready for it. You've got some timings there, which is usually helpful. For me, it's always about thinking, well, okay, I only have to hang on for, let me see, another 6 days or whatever it is. And so I always feel a bit better if I've got sort of like, I know it's going to end. Okay, I just have to keep going until it ends. That kind of thing. I have to talk again about the rise of the feminine. I've been going on about this for several years now, at least 3 or 4 years, and I think this is very much involved with that. Just briefly, there is a titanic battle for supremacy going on over our heads or in the ether around us. It's to do with the fact that the masculine, so that is the yang, so masculine with a capital M, as in masculine and feminine, yin and yang. It's to do with the fact that masculine and alongside that patriarchy and gender maleness, etc., has been in supremacy for 2,000 years, let's say. It's taken the lead in a lot of things. And it's not just that males have been dominant in terms of positions of authority or superiority. It's also been the fact that sorry, I've just lost myself. Males taking a position. Right. It's also been the fact that the masculine energies, so things like growth, things like commercial growth, industrial growth, and really that is just a dash that can lead us nowhere, because if we just keep going for growth, 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 then eventually it will lead to the depletion of all resources. The planet can't keep up. Our planet is feminine, yin. Masculine energy, which is constantly burning up resources in an effort to get more money, more money, more money, it's working against the feminine. The masculine has been too dominant for too long, industrial revolution, etc. So there is a rebalancing going on, and funnily enough, the age of Aquarius is the time when there is the rise of the feminine. The two things are coming together. Possibly always when we get these great ages, and that maybe when we get a great age in Aquarius, which is masculine, maybe the spiritual has to be then feminine. So there is a balance going on in the great age. I don't know. I always thought about that. Could be true. Anyway, so just going back to this. So we've got the rise of the feminine. We can see from our own news that there is a great battle going on, because we can see just in America enormous goings on backwards and forwards and up and down and toing and froing and mind-boggling statements and sweeping power grabs and talks of land grabs and all kinds of things that were unimaginable before Trump arrived on the scene. We've got the power balance of nations is being completely turned inside out, with alliances between possibly Russia and America, and then Europe who would have thought it, sort of, etc., etc. So we know that these enormous, great tsunamis of power and authority and energy are crashing around us all the time. And these really do represent this battle for supremacy, the rise of the feminine and the masculine really trying hard to hang on to what it's got. Now, it would be hard to say, well, what is Trump? Is masculine? Is Trump? Actually, no, it's easy to say. Masculine is, sorry, Trump is of a masculine nature. He is of a yang energy. But we've got others around him. Putin, for instance, playing feminine. I'm not quite sure where Musk comes in all of this. It can get quite tangled sometimes, but it is basically a duality. And there we go. Okay, so this Venus-Saturn conjunction, which is taking up most of April, is part of it. And so what you will have to do is just watch and see. This is about acquisition, and it's about that success or denial or austerity. Um, if you one thing you can do, you can go back to the 18th of January because that was the first hit. And whatever happened around the 18th of January that felt a little dreary or felt a little challenging, that will be the subject that will come back. Those will be the issues that you will revisit now in April. So that might give you a guide. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so, well, not the best of news, but hey, it's astrology and I hope it's been useful for you. And you know where I am if you want a reading, if things don't feel too great, have a reading. I've got a 100% success rate of clients saying after they have a reading with me, they feel much happier. They understand more and they feel much calmer and they get more peace. So hopefully that would also be the case with yourself. You can find all about my readings on my website, alisonchesterlambert.com. Right, okay, I'm going to see you on Friday, and I hope that you have a peaceful couple of days. We've got fabulous weather here in the UK, and I hope you have wherever you are too. And it's been absolutely fantastic to talk to you, and I'm going to say goodbye and see you soon. Bye.